Hi, good morning. It is Monday morning, March 3rd. It's really early, and I woke up so early, like 1 a.m. And I was, when you wake up early and you're with that, you just feel spirit. I don't know how else to say it because everything's so quiet. And then as I went back in, I was feeling, I like dissolved. And it was so wonderful to be like, who am I? I lost some sense of identity. Sorry, Capper. He was up in here a minute ago. And it was just lovely to like bask in that I drifted in and out of consciousness for the next few hours and finally woke up at 4 and I was like, I'm probably not getting any more sleep, but it was wonderful. So I know today will be tired. But I sat down here and I was like, I know, like I had this feeling ever since waking up, like a message wants to come through. And I was like, okay. And so when I got back down here after my morning reflection of A Course in Miracles, I was like, well, let's feel into what the energy is. And like I followed my body sensations, and this word that kept coming to mind was integration. And it came up earlier this morning in an email I was writing. Oh my God. So there's something about integration, and then I'm like, this feels familiar. Like, it's hard to describe the feeling, but oh my God, we're in March, and there's these readings have been building about integrating light and shadow, and in order to move more into acceptance of what is, and moving into our alignment and our truth. And then something told me a minute ago, like, go back to the year ahead reading that I did back in December. I think, yeah, it must have been December. And so I pulled it up. Sure enough, when I laid out a shadow card for each of the quarters. The first quarter's card was integration. I was like, oh, thanks for that reminder. So, long story short, I pulled out the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I won't be able to do the full reading right now because I've got to get breakfast, get exercise, get stretched, go to work. And so I thought, let's just start this. And then I do have a gap in the middle of my day. Coincidentally, I can come home and pick this up. So this is me in the morning. I forgot my going out, so I can't even see. And then you'll see me later in the afternoon. So there will be a 2-part, but in one video. So thank you, Spirit, for whatever messages you were hoping would come through. Hopefully I can be a clear interpreter and channel for that message. Thank you. What do you have to tell us about integration? The Council. I love the artwork. Number 11. Ooh, love that number. I'm starting to learn more about numerology along with my astrology, all of the ologies. Oh, that book's on the bottom. Okay, the Council. Number 11. The essence. The Council are the luminous beings who hold the collective wisdom of humanity. They are the ones before whom you will do your life review when you cross into the world of spirit. A life review is when we place our good and our bad deeds on a divine scale and attempt to explain why we did not love or forgive or dare as greatly as we might have. Know that their wisdom is available to you at all times when you live in a state of yes, in an unconditional relationship with life. They remind you of your place around a sacred fire which has been reserved for you since the beginning of time. You will claim it when you own your inner wisdom. The invitation. The Council has a message for you. Listen with your inner senses. The handwriting is already on the wall, so look about you and you will discern its meaning. Do not wait for further signs. Embark on the journey to love deeply, forgive sincerely, and dare greatly. Take the leap without requiring life to assure you of success. The medicine. You are never alone. Turn to the Council to find the guidance you seek and listen to the voice that arises spontaneously. Turn a deaf ear to that nagging voice from your ego that tells you that you are not up for the task before you. Create a spiritual feast for the Council. Invite them to your altar every time you meditate or pray. Okay, you know what's crazy about this? And there must have been a reason, why I was telling you about when I woke up at 1 a.m. and I was in that dissipating kind of energy where I was just like there, and then I was hearing, I was like, what is this message? Like I was speaking with Spirit to say, what message do you have? And the message came in about stop being small. Is that what it said? Oh, stop playing safe. Stop playing safe. And I was like, oh, interesting. And that is the message that was here in number 11. Embark on the journey. Do not wait for further signs. Embark on the journey to love deeply, forgive sincerely, and dare greatly. Stop playing it safe. Take the leap without requiring life to assure you of success. So with integration being in the first quarter of 2025, and the fool was the overall energy for this year, like to dare greatly. Don't be small anymore. You don't have to play it safe anymore. Play it small, play it safe, etc. So there's something about integrating those aspects of ourselves. Like, when didn't you dare greatly or love deeply? And it's time you feel that on the inside, so it's time to integrate that into your journey. Dare greatly, love deeply. So listen to the council. They have that message for us. And I'm going to push pause because I'll come back later and we'll dive into the full reading. All right, bye. Hi, I'm back. So I'm back from work and ready to pick up where we left off. And so what we have here is the council. And it's about listening to your inner wisdom. So I thought, let's come up with a new spread. Thanks, ChatGPT, for listening to our inner wisdom and what might be clouding there's a whole bunch of things. So the current voice within, what's clouding my intuition, how can I better listen to myself, what truth do I already know, how can I trust myself more fully, and a message from your higher self. And I also, before I even did that, let's put that right back on there. Before I even looked that up, because I thought I want a more meaningful placements. I don't want to just rely on the same old spread types every time, because they may not illuminate exactly what the overall energy was telling us. So I wonder if this is a new thing I'll do where I'll get the overall, push pause, help ChatGPT help me out with the spread, and maybe we can go even deeper than we would have otherwise. And so I'm really liking that idea. But before I did that, I brought out the Awakening Intuition Oracle and my, where is it? I forget what these are called. Mediumship. These are my mediumship cards, which is all about helping you develop that relationship with spirit and with your higher self. So here we go. And I may or may not have ordered more cards online this morning. Was it this morning? Yeah, I listened to a podcast this morning of Michael Singer, and I haven't really spent much time with him. I've heard of him, I've read some of his stuff, but I ordered a book, and then he has cards, and I was like, oh no, you didn't just say the cards word. And so I ordered them, and I think they're going to be a nice complement to my other babies. So I'm excited for those to come in. All right, so let's see what message wants to come through for not only loving more deeply, accepting more fully, and daring more greatly. And then we have no more playing it safe. It's time to dare great and accept all that is and stop telling old stories and just love more deeply. Love everything and everyone. What are you going to lose? Love just gives and gets more love. What are you going to lose? It's time for us to start living that way. I don't know, man. It's time. So thank you for whatever messages are going to come through to help us in those endeavors. And then, like I said earlier, there was that message of integration. It's like we're finally integrating all this stuff. And integrating means the blending. We're going to take the good and the not so good and alchemize it into what is our authenticity. Where are we going? What are we meant to do here in this lifetime? You don't want to get to the end of whatever lifetime you have and say, oh man, I could have done all those things, loved more deeply, accepted more without judgment, without condemnation, and dared more greatly. So yeah, I'm getting the chills already. So let's see what messages want to come through in this new spread. I'm just going to lay out the cards in this format. Yeah, I'm going to do a weird one. 1, 2. Oh gosh, that tower. Oh my God, this is big energy. Yikes. And then 4, 5, and 6. Oh, wow. And then we'll get an overall. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. This will be interesting. Okay. So what we have here is we have 6 cards because that's what ChatGPT told me we were going to do. And then I always pull an overall. So if the overall, whoops, you can't see that. The overall energy is the 8 of Swords. This is one of feeling trapped by your own thoughts, by your own old stories, your own negative self-beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, self-limiting stories, just negativity. And this person has done this all by themselves. No one's put them here but themselves. And see how they're like, it's like trepidation there. They're like, I don't trust the ground I walk on. It's like lack of trust. And so there's this, all of these swords are like doubt, lack of trust, skepticism. And so what she doesn't see, because she has a blindfold on, is that these bondages, the wrapping that she has herself in is loose. It's not super tight, and it's just like cloth. She can easily undo that and let herself out. She's done this herself. She can take her blindfold off, and she can start trusting, set aside all those old stories. And so in the first placement, we have the 9 of Swords, which 8 to the 9, holy crap. This is so much anxiety and worry. And this says the current voice within. What is my inner wisdom trying to tell me right now? The clearest message from within, whether I've been listening or not. And right now, the stories you tell yourself are causing so much anxiety and worry. And what Spirit is telling you is that stop doing that, first of all. Like the doctor would say, like, oh, that hurts, stop doing it. So, and I'm going to clarify all these. So actually, let's just do it now. And you know what? I'm going to use a totally different deck because I love the feel of these. This is Pause Tarot, which I'm not going to read from the book, but here's what it looks like. Isn't it cute? So, and they just feel so good. Listen. So anyway, I love these. So let's clarify the 9 of Swords, which is what is your inner wisdom trying to tell you about all of this, all these negative stories. This is your own doing. This is exactly a progression of this feeling trapped and going into just more anxiety and worry, more just depression. So let's see what your higher self, your inner wisdom is trying to tell you about this 9 of Swords. We have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a teacher, like a mentor or coach. And it's this other wisdom that this person's holding up a sign of blessing. I mean, these images are funny. But it's there's the this is inner wisdom. So there's seeking your own inner wisdom because there's a blessing there. It's saying it's just saying stop. You have the inner wisdom and you are blessed. You should trust it. And that's what the Hierophant is. It's like relying on a teacher to bestow wisdom on you. It's time to rely on your inner wisdom to give you those blessings. Okay? So that's what the current voice within is telling you. Trust me. I have the wisdom. And then the next card is, what is clouding my intuition? What external distractions, fears, or beliefs are making it hard for me to hear my inner peace? Well, we have the Tower, which is complete like chaos and destruction. That might sound extreme, but it's a leveling energy. It's like taking things back down so that you can see with clarity. Maybe you've built something on just shaky ground and it's time to come down so that you can see the reality of the situation. You can build something new, right? You can manifest, if you like that word, what you want in your life. You can build a solid foundation this time. And I think that one is based on trust and intuition, obviously, because that's what this reading's about, your inner wisdom. What you've built so far has kept you, you're on this mountain, this scary, not very big mountain where the tower could just slip right off of it. So this energy is one of not on solid ground. So it's time to build solid ground by trusting your inner voice, which you've known you needed to do for a long time, right? Now's the time. And so let's clarify the Tower and what is clouding my intuition. These are external distractions, fears, or beliefs that are making it hard to hear your inner guidance. What's this Tower mean for us? What guidance do you have? We have the Queen of Swords. The Queen is this feminine energy of trusting your wisdom. And so she has, because the swords are like wisdom, thought, and beliefs. And so the Queen, being the higher end of the progression from like 0 to, or not 0, but 1 to King, the Queen is really high up there, and she is water intuition. So queens are water and intuition, nurturing. But when you combine that intuition with the sword, which is thought, beliefs, it's saying you're developing, you need to redefine your belief system about yourself. And so what's clouding your judgment is either you've been all water or all swords, right? This is about bringing those elements together, integrating those so that you have a new belief system based on your intuition, which are cups energy, water, flowing intuition. And so that's what's been keeping you from trusting it, is you've built something out of alignment in your life. And you're like, this is no longer serving me. It's like you can feel it, and you're waiting for that Tower to just bring it down. Now, Tower means it could be internal or external influences that are going to shake what you've built to the ground. You're going to crumble that old belief system, those old stories, and build from this Queen of Swords energy. Man, the Queen of Swords is also one that maybe up to this point, because this is about what's clouding your intuition, she keeps people at arm's length. Sometimes she's like, come here, you can talk to me. And then she has a sword right in front of him that says, but I'm going to tell you how I really think. I'm going to tell you what I think. But come here, let's talk. So there's a little bit of like testing people, perhaps. Like, there's something here about because you haven't up to this point really trusted your intuition, even maybe known what it was, like maybe you've been more in the mind trying to figure things out. And so with that sword energy, when you have that, it's like you're not building relationships or communication from a heart-centered place, from compassion, from your intuition. And so it's all of the mind. So there's this maybe keeping people at arm's length, like don't get too close. I'm going to tell you what I think, first versus what I feel. And it's a little bit deceptive in that way. So that's feel into that, see if it resonates. And then what we have in the how can I better listen to myself, a practice, mindset, or action that will help me connect more deeply to my inner wisdom. Well, this is the Fool energy. This is just saying like, it's time for a new, fresh start. Literally the first card in the tarot, the Fool is like, wild abandon. I am on this journey to learn as much as I can. And I'm only carrying this little knapsack. It has everything I need. I don't need much. There's this dog, there's a joyfulness. Like you have companions on this journey. It's not just a solo mission. But how can I better listen to myself? The Fool, they're starting out alone. It's like, oh man, it's just such fresh, vibrant energy. It's like, feel fresh again. You can literally toss aside everything that's come before. When the Fool starts out again, after you go through the whole deck of tarot, and the Fool starts out again, they're taking what they've learned before, but they're still in that fresh mindset, like I'm seeing things with fresh eyes. And so you can let those old stories go away, take what you learned and start out fresh again. No one's going to judge you. No one's even thinking about you. That might sound harsh, but it's liberating, isn't it? We only think about ourselves. So, anyway, no one's judging you. People think about you in good ways. They don't judge you. And if they do, if you're like, oh, it's really the judgment happens on our insides. Like we think people are judging us, and therefore we think that's reality when it's not. But it's like, drop that old story. Go fresh. So let's clarify this Fool energy. How can I better listen to myself? Ace of Pentacles. This is divine wisdom in your material world. So it's like, when you think maybe you've been a little skeptical, like we have the council here. Maybe you don't believe in, like, I have a council of people that are going to do my life review when I'm done here. Maybe that's not your belief system, and that's okay. This Ace of Pentacles is a very grounded energy of a divine wisdom. So you don't have to get all woo-woo with it, whatever your belief system is about where these messages come from. This is your wisdom. Pentacles, your reality, your life on this earth. This is not just thoughts. It's not all just emotion. It's not all just passion. This is Pentacles energy, which is very grounded. So but I should say, and see how the gift is coming out of the clouds. The aces are divine. So this wisdom is your divine wisdom. That's your inner wisdom. It's grounded in the earth, in your body. Trust it. And so what's amazing when you pair up the Fool and the Ace of Pentacles, there's nothing else you need on this journey. You are divinely guided. And I don't know, I'll leave it at that, divinely guided. So next up we have, what truth do I already know? And this is a deep inner knowing I may be doubting, ignoring, or second guessing. And this is the Five of Wands. What's interesting about this is like the card of ego. And they say competition, rivalry. And look, to me, this is an ego state that we might be temporarily in or have been in up until this point. And see how they're all not even looking at each other and they're like, my idea's the best. And nobody's looking at each other or listening. They're just all like, mine's the best. And like they're getting nowhere, right? So this is, what truth do I already know? We're going to find out what truth you've been doubting, because ego is all about I look confident, but really I'm doubting. If I was confident, I wouldn't have the need to be like, look at me, look at mine. This one's the best, right? Right. No. So let's clarify the Five of Wands and say, what truth do I already know? Maybe I already know that my idea is the best and I don't need other people's approval. I love this. Look at his eyeballs. The Magician. What truth do you already know? That you can manifest anything you want in this life. And that's through your own inner wisdom. This is also, they say this card is like as above, so below. So you're grounding in your higher wisdom into your reality, into your everyday life. This is exactly what, if I had, there were a few cards I would say are about that inner wisdom, like anchoring it in. This is one of the big ones. Probably the biggest because it's the major arcana. So there you go. So this card, while it says it's an ego state, this is what you already know is your wisdom is all you need to rely on. Maybe not your ego, but yourself. That's all you need, right? And so Wheel of Fortune, this is how can I trust myself more fully? A key insight or shift that will help me trust and act on my intuition with confidence. How can I trust myself more fully? The Wheel of Fortune is, I'd like to call it like it's the universe doesn't play favorites, card, because it's not about outward approval. Maybe I should just leave it at that. It's not about outward approval because everyone gets their time. Everyone gets their time being lucky and unlucky, and the universe doesn't play favorites and say, well, you're the special one, so the unlucky part of the wheel is going to skip you. It's like, no, there are cycles, karmic cycles, generational cycles. The wheel keeps going round and round, and we should not cling to any one thing. It's like, just let it go around and take things as they come. And so how can I trust myself more fully? Well, it's really trusting in, there's an energy here about when we tell ourselves old stories and desperately not wanting to repeat old patterns. We may not trust what got us to this point. Or like, you might look back and say, man, everything I did was wrong. And it's like, but was it? I don't think so. So there's an energy here about, like, don't throw away everything just because this is giving you a fresh start and you feel that. You made some good choices along the way, and all the choices you made led you to this moment in time. And everyone is on their own divine timing with this, I'll just call it the awakening process, awakening to your higher wisdom, trusting yourself, like living big, daring greatly. We're all on our own timeline. Some people, they hit that right in their young adulthood and they're often, running. And then all of us, other people, it's a long and windy path to get back home to ourselves. And so this Wheel of Fortune is saying cycles go round and round. Don't throw everything away. Don't distrust your past self just because it took you this long to get here. You got here. Okay? So I think that's the first step, is not doubting your prior wisdom that got you here, or the doubting. Just don't doubt yourself. It's something you were divinely guided to this point in time, and you went through what you went through to learn those lessons. And those are going to really, that's wisdom. When you're sitting here and you're like, man, my past was a little rocky, a little towery, and I learned a lot. So trust that. Let's clarify the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Devil. So sorry, this artwork is funny. There's like, oh my God, the devil is like a cat, and there's like cat poop on the kitchen floor or something. And she's got like the pooper scooper in her hand. That is cat energy for sure. And he's like watching her like, yeah, you can pick that up for me, human. Oh my God. So the devil is that deceptive kind of energy where it's that self-sabotage. Well, in this case, the devil's sabotaging them, but usually it's about those self-limiting behaviors. And I think that's what it's saying about your past is like, you're not taking those forward. The devil is, because it's deceptive and tricky, I think it's just confirmation again. Like, don't look back. That's the energy I was feeling. Don't look back and think that you were all wrong. That's deception. Take what you learned from those self-sabotaging thoughts, stories, behaviors, and start to trust. That's why you're right here, that you've learned so much. And then we have a message from my higher self, a final piece of wisdom or encouragement from my higher self or spirit guides. What I love about this is it's literally the card about going into quietude and seeking your divine wisdom. It's literally what this card is usually about. And so we have, see the stained glass windows with the hands in prayer. And this is, I'm going into quiet to seek my divine wisdom from my higher self. So a message from my higher self. Yeah, what is it? I mean, that's saying like, spend more time in doing this and your wisdom you're going to get the messages you seek. Let's help clarify the Four of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups, another ace, and this one is the overflowing of the gift of your intuition, because look at all that water. An ace, again, divine. See the paw coming out of the clouds? I love the eyes on that bird. I love the half eyes. They crack me up. But anyway, this is saying go into this state as often as you can, and the gifts of your divine intuition are going to keep flowing and flowing. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. What I would like to do is clarify the Eight of Swords as the overall energy with just one final message about that the self-limiting beliefs. Like, what do you want to tell us about those as we move forward? We have the Five of Cups. I love this. The Five of Cups is, oh my God. This is a card of seeing the spilled cups. Like up to this point, it's like only focusing on the negative, those self-deceptive stories. You know what yours are. I know what mine are. But you might not know. You might have to really go into inquiry internally and be like, think about when you tell somebody all about yourself. What stories are your go-to stories? Like when you meet somebody new, you want, and you don't have a lot of time perhaps, like what are the stories you go to that give them a synopsis of your entire self? Which, depending on how old you are, that might be hard to summarize. So you probably have a few key stories. What are those stories? Why do you tell them? I mean, just pick a few. Pick one. I mean, like, what's my story that I feel like sums me up in a nutshell? All my hopes and dreams and fears and like what I'm proud of, what I'm not so proud of. Oh, a lot of times we don't tell those stories, do we? So, but they're just stories, right? They're not true. Those were something in the past, but who are you right this moment? How can you show that to somebody? By your mere presence, right? What would you talk about instead of your stories? Wouldn't there be a lot of like, oh, what if conversations? It'd be like dreaming up something new, and you can learn a lot about somebody by the way they talk about something when they're not talking about themselves and they're not gossiping about other people. They're not talking about the weather or sports. or politics or religion. Scrap all that. What would you talk about to give somebody an idea of who you are? Man, I wish we talked like that in real life. I gotta do more of that. Because that's all I want to do is have what if conversations, like, what if we did this? What if the world was like that? Or what if it was never like that? Oh man, what if? And so the Five of Cups is moving away from telling those old stories, those spilt cups, focusing on the lack, the sorrow, the depression, all the negative stuff. And there are 2 full cups behind him. And there's also that river of intuition leading him to a bridge that gets him to his castle, leads him to much greener pastures. So this is exactly what the Eight of Swords is. It's self-deception energy, but where this leads is right here to the Ace of Cups. So this is saying, yep, that's I can't believe how cohesive all of this is. And they're not always like that. I've done some recently too. Oh, cover your hands. Where it was hard. It was hard to get the messages through, but these have been very, very clear. What I'd like to do is, because we're talking about our intuition, I would like to get a card from our Awakening Intuition Oracle deck. I don't use these very much, and they're they're like sticky. So I'm gonna, if I get one I've recently gotten, you know me, I might pull again, because sometimes I feel like they just don't shuffle well. So thank you, Spirit, for those messages. Anchor into your energy. Come home to yourself instead of focusing on others, tasks to be completed, or the external world. Stop riding every wave and drop anchor by doing an activity you love or spending quality self-care time alone. Center yourself to feel more powerful, calm, and confident. Your intuition will then stabilize. This is what we're talking about. Don't worry about the other people. This is when I said a solo journey. You have support, but ultimately the way you're going to get to where you're going is of your own. It's self-reliance of your inner wisdom. And this okay, I always look at the numbers too. See the number 42, the answer to the universe and everything. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't usually read these, but I'm going to, because there's already a lot of information on that card, so I don't usually read these. But because it's number 42, the expanded meaning, it's very easy to be pulled into other people's energy or events in the outside world to the extent that your energy becomes scattered, an inevitable aspect of life. However, this card indicates it's been happening to you a lot lately, and it's time to drop anchor. Just like a vessel moving through a large body of water must occasionally come to stop, dock, or drop anchor, you now need to do the same. Oh my God. What's funny is we got that ship analogy when we read the Council, I think, which was like, or no, that was in my other. All of these today are of the same vibe. I pulled cards for my studio this morning where I do my practice, bodywork practice, and I do a reading every Monday. And one of the cards that I pulled was like, that big ships aren't meant to just sit in the harbor, like set sail, like dream big or go home. And now this one is another ship analogy, but it's like, it's time to drop anchor versus set sail. Just like a vessel moving through a large body of water must occasionally come to a stop, dock, or drop anchor, you now need to do the same. So isn't that interesting? They're both the same message with a twist on the metaphor. Meaning, it's like set sail and like live your big life. And then the other side of that is drop anchor into your own wisdom and live your big life. Reclaim your energy from the lives of others and then begin banking your energy instead of letting so much flow out. If you're a giver, you may have fallen into overgiving. Instead of tracking the emotions of others, track your own. Prioritize your needs and desires now. Indulge your unique tastes, proclivities, and eccentricities instead of catering to others. Avoid preoccupation with the lives of others, whether in the news, via office gossip, or in your own personal world. Did we talk about that? Gossip. This card can indicate you are run down and need to reboot or refuel. Riding every wave of life can be exhausting. When anchored in your energy, your intuitive hits will be more powerful and you'll have more natural confidence in your sixth sense. Inner knowing. Action steps. Identify what you require now. Take healthy time to yourself or practice healthy selfishness. Witness and observe others. That witness word again. See card number 6 on page 22. That's a lot of information. Witness and observe others and the outside world instead of opening up to feel with everyone. Engage with activities, topics, or places that always recharge you, specifically ones that emphasize your unique personality or that have long held a special spot in your heart. If you've been giving a lot to another person, a project, or anything else outside yourself, pull back. Spend more time on self-care. Practice bringing your thoughts back to your issues and emotions instead of becoming immersed in the issues and emotions of others. Yup. It's like a distraction energy, when we're just focused out there. It keeps us from doing this. Feel more centered and stable by connecting with your inner queen. Oh, we talked about that. We had some queens in here. Or monarch, and own your power. It's a good time to engage in self-contemplation, inner healing work, or loving self-inventories. You are a fascinating subject. Yes, you are. And then lastly, one quick message from our mediumship deck, which is connecting with spirit and our higher wisdom. Thank you so much for these messages. This is called Linking with Spirit. Here's that inner wisdom. The first and most important step when you're connecting and communicating with Spirit is to create a solid and clear link. Only when the link with Spirit has been established can the delicate process of authentication and validation begin. To practice linking, it's important to first become aware of how you sense the spirit world. For some, it's a quickening, as though your whole body is vibrating, a sense of inner knowing, or even seeing energy. Each and every medium works in their own unique way, and no matter how you sense spirit, just trust it's the right way for you. It's that trust word again. For you, because we're all unique on this path. To establish a strong link, you can breathe in the energy which sends a clear signal that you're ready to connect. In your heart and mind, invite the spirit to draw close and share their light and energy with you. If you're studying mediumship for the first time, then it's always best to practice with someone who's open to receiving a message. Share evidential information with the sitter to validate that the link has been established with a recognizable loved one. So examples of evidence from a spirit would be the following: what the relationship is to the sitter. So this goes into all about, if you're being a medium, what I like to read these as is practices for connecting with spirit, your higher self. And so it's really saying pause and breathe in with that intention of connecting and feel that, feel into your heart space that you've connected. It's the breath work really has a way of clearing out the noise. I'm going inward, I'm inhaling, I'm filling up this heart space, and there's something magical about the way you can really quickly connect with your inner self, and it just drowns out the noise. It's like things become quiet with that deep inhale and exhale. So link up with your spirit, which is your inner knowing. I think that's all that we're going to do today. Do you have any questions? I really like this message because it's you already have inner truths to rely on. You already have it. You can. I don't know. I don't want to repeat everything. There's a lot of major arcana here. This is crazy. I want to just show you the Hierophant, the Tower, the Fool, the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, the Devil. I mean, that's amazing. Like half the cards we pulled are major arcana, which is big energy. And I keep feeling like everyone is talking about March as being like this major shift time. So, and we already know March from our year ahead was about integration. So it's finally time to just do that story exercise. Like think about the stories you tell people to tell people who you really are, to illustrate who you are. And say like, why do I do that? I want to be a new person. I don't want to perpetuate that. I might be proud of those things, but they're just events that happened in my life. What am I going to do now? And talk about the what ifs. I love that. Like, who wants to talk about sports anymore, or the weather, or just repeat stories about myself, which, aren't you bored of your stories? Aren't you a little bored? Dream up some new ones. Talk to people. Like I'm just craving real conversation with people. Like, tell me who you are with your words about possibility, adventure and possibility and what if, versus like, here's what I did. Here's like, I went to school and then I did this and then here's my job and I like pizza. And I don't know, whatever. Just, we can start having real conversation about just how we want to move through the world with each other. That's all. That's all. Okay, I hope this resonated a little bit. It's a very positive, big energy for transformation, for listening to your inner wisdom. Now's the time, because big things, I think, are coming, and March is huge. So this time of reflection of March, where people say things are going retrograde, I still don't know what that means, other than there's this going inward call, and that's what this is about. Take these first couple weeks of March to go inward and drop the old stories. See what emerges.